Morning, everybody. It's Thursday morning at 8:55, and Thursday being claims day, I have those and the PPI. Initial claims up for another week, 244,000. That's up 9,000, and last week's was also adjusted up 1,000 on top of it. Continuing claims 1,331,000, and that's down from 1,375,000. So initial claims coming back up a bit, continuing claims continuing to fall. We have Asia and Europe both a bit lower this morning, and we have the PPI, the number for the month for PPI, up 1.1%. Expectation was up 0.8%. The year over year number, a whopping 11.3. Uh, that number is back to 1981 numbers. It was actually 2/10 off what was expected. And so, there's no real way for me to explain it other than to say that commodities, which have come down in the past month or two, not fully reflected there. Core was up 4/10 versus expectations of up 6/10, so that's a little bit better. But the year over year on core was 8.2 versus 6.4 of X food and energy. Um, by the way, happy Bastille Day. And speaking of Bastille Days, I think they ought to lock up um, Andrew Ross Sorkin. He is just so political. It's incredible. He was just on a few minutes ago talking with Ted Cruz of Texas, and Sorkin and Cruz were going back and forth about the price of gas. And this just shows you how ridiculous some of this is. Sorkin asks, so uh, are you going to give Biden the credit for bringing down oil prices? And Ted Cruz was just, as was I, incredulous. Bringing them down? A year ago, oil was $62. 62. And Ross Sorkin wants to give credit for the move from 130, which was really there for basically a nanosecond on the explosive run from the breakout at 95, down here to basically 95. So, yes, it is down 35%. Isn't that great? It's still 50% higher than it was a year ago, and several 100% higher than it was the year before that. I'm not trying to be political about this. I don't like to do that. But it also shows the same thing that a lot of the teleprompter readers are telling you. Oh, well, you can buy it because it's 5% off the high, or 12% off the high, or 24% off the high. The high was an excessive overvaluation. There is no reason to buy something just because it's 5 or 10 or 20 or even 30% off the high. Take a look at some of those great pandemic stocks that are 85 and 90 and 95% off the highs. Those certainly weren't the buys on the way down. Uh, you know, when the world wakes up to what real valuations are supposed to be, and these teleprompter readers stop with all the BS about it's down, so buy it, at that point, then the market maybe bottoms. We had a bunch of earnings today: JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Taiwan Semi, ConAgra. The banks were down, they both missed. And JP Morgan suspended their buyback. The stock closed 111.91 yesterday, traded as low as 106 so far today. Last is 109, down about $3. Morgan Stanley, also a miss, closed 74.98. It got down to 72 and change. Last is 74.17, down 81 cents. Taiwan Semiconductor and ConAgra both beat, although ConAgra is still down 34.80, down 94 cents, while Taiwan Semi is 82.69, and that's up 1.7%, or $1.40. The AAII numbers came out overnight, and the bullish number is 26.9, up 7.5. And while 7.5 is a nice move from 19 to 27, um, it's still 50% below the long term average. Bears were down to 46.5, down 5.7. And the I don't have a clue people were 26.6, down 1.2%. So we still have, I mean, it's not 2 or 3 times bears over bulls, but it is still pretty decent. And I'm going to guess that we're going to get a little bit of a rally here this morning, um, when we open. Even though the futures overnight were down from the minute that they reopened. At 7:30 this morning, they were down 400 on the Dow, 120 on the Nasdaq, and 52 on the S&P. Right now, the Dow. Let's take a quick look here. S&P down 53, so that's about in the same place. Dow down 480. I have seen it down about 500. Nasdaq is still down right around 100. So, the Dow is heavily weighted. At JP Morgan is a major factor in that, and it now is trading at 108.5, down basically about $3.40. So, pretty ugly. The rate hike information, the CPI and PPI have really pounded this market. So we'll have to see how the day goes. It would not surprise me to see a rally back to the upside. So happy Bastille Day. Ignore Andrew Ross Sarkin, and I'll be back later.